What if I told you the United States and British Canada almost went to war? Over a pig. Yes, a pig. One farm animal, one unlucky porker, almost caused an international incident between two of the friendliest nations on Earth. Hey folks, this is Geography Facts, your go-to spot for the weirdest, wildest, and absolutely true stories from around the world. If geography and history had a baby, it would be this channel. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and let's dive into one of the most ridiculous conflicts in North American history. Today, we're talking about the Pig War of 1859, a standoff between the United States and British Canada over territorial disputes in the San Juan Islands. And it all started because one farmer's pig got too nosy in someone else's potato patch. The setup. Where is this happening? Let's set the scene. We're in the Pacific Northwest, mid-1800s, that wild, foggy frontier region between modern-day Washington State and British Columbia. In the middle of it all are the San Juan Islands, sitting between Vancouver Island and the mainland U.S. Now here's the issue. The Treaty of Oregon, signed in 1846 between the U.S. and Britain, was supposed to clearly define the border. The treaty said the boundary would go through the middle of the channel, which separates the continent from Vancouver's island. Sounds simple, right? Well, there were two channels. Oops. Both sides interpreted the treaty differently, and both thought the San Juan Islands belonged to them. Who lived there? American settlers started moving in, farming, and building homes on the islands. Many came from the Oregon Territory. But at the same time, the British Hudson's Bay Company was operating on the islands too, raising sheep and flying the British flag. It was basically a game of who can live here more aggressively. Tensions were high. Both groups kind of just coexisted awkwardly until one fateful pig pushed things too far. The Pig Incident. On June 15, 1859, a British pig wandered onto the land of American settler Lyman Cutler and started digging up his potato garden. And not just one potato, that pig gorged itself like it was at an all-you-can-eat buffet. Cutler, understandably annoyed, shot the pig. The pig, unfortunately, did not survive. It turned out the pig belonged to Charles Griffin, an Irish employee of the Hudson's Bay Company. Cutler offered to pay $10 in compensation, but Griffin wanted $100 and threatened to have him arrested. Suddenly, this was no longer about just one pig. This was about national pride. Escalation. Cutler and other American settlers were terrified of being arrested by British authorities, so they ran to the U.S. military for help. The U.S. Army responded by sending Captain George Pickett and 60 soldiers to defend the American settlers. Yes, the same Pickett who later led Pickett's charge at Gettysburg. Not to be outdone, the British responded by sending 3 warships to the island. Soon there were over 400 British sailors and Marines and over 400 U.S. troops stationed on a tiny island, all because of one pig. People on both sides started preparing for war. They dug trenches, aimed cannons, and waited for orders. The war that wasn't. And here's the twist. Nobody actually wanted to fight. Both British and American commanders started realizing this was getting out of hand, fast. The British Rear Admiral was reportedly under strict orders not to fire the first shot, saying, "It's not worth the life of one British subject." Meanwhile, U.S. President James Buchanan and British officials in London were like, "What are you people doing? It's a pig." Eventually, cooler heads prevailed. Both sides agreed to a joint military occupation of the island, with each side allowed to keep a small number of troops there, peacefully. This strange status lasted for 12 years. Yes, 12 years of politely avoiding a war over one chubby pig. Final resolution. So how did it finally end? In 1871, the U.S. and Britain decided enough was enough. They sent the dispute to international arbitration, led by none other than Kaiser Wilhelm I of Germany. And in 1872, the Kaiser ruled in favor of the United States, awarding the San Juan Islands to America. No shots were ever fired. No one, except the pig, died. And the U.S. and Canada remained best buddies. To this day, the San Juan Islands are part of Washington State, but the Pig War remains a hilarious reminder of how human pride, ambiguous treaties, and hungry pigs can cause real geopolitical drama. Fun facts. Some fun and weird trivia from this absurd almost war. The only casualty of the entire war was the pig. American and British troops stationed together during the joint occupation actually became friends, throwing parties, playing cricket, and sharing whiskey. There's a pig war museum and historical markers you can visit on San Juan Island today. This might be the only war in history caused entirely by a food-motivated farm animal. If the U.S. and Britain had gone to war, it could have dragged Canada into the mess, way before it officially became a country in 1867. So there you have it, the story of the Pig War. No bombs, no battles, just a hungry pig, two stubborn nations, and a whole lot of potatoes. History is weird, and geography makes it even weirder. So, let us know in the comments. Do you think this was the silliest international conflict ever? Or do you know one that's even more ridiculous? If you enjoyed this video, smash that like button, share it with your fellow history nerds, and don't forget to subscribe to Geography Facts for more strange but true stories from the map's wild edges. Until next time, I'm reminding you that sometimes the biggest battles start with the smallest pigs.